So welcome to Coonabarabran and welcome to Goanna Tracks. Dirt riding complex, pretty famous place. I see a lot of options there if you're in the dirt bikes. So the track itself is about 20 k's out of Coonabarabran, which is, as shown, about 6 hours from the 500 k's from the centre of Sydney. When you turn off the road coming out from Coona, you get about 3 k's of this gravel dirt road that take you in. So we're about, from the gate here, we're about a k and a half into the complex. But it's a pretty good road, it's okay. They're not open all that often, but as usual with all the tracks, check their socials. This is the Easter weekend 23, and this is the first time they've opened this year. So this is the 3rd day in a row of the Easter break that they're open. And again, if you check the satellite view, you can get a good look at the tracks, as I say, that are everywhere, you know, from around the world. It's a great way to get a good look before you go. So I've just driven a kilometre in from the gate, and here's the first track that we come to, the sand track. This is the top or highest section of the sand track. So another couple 100 metres in, and there you got the start of the an end of the sand track. I'll just keep the footage going now as we go into the complex itself. Coming down here on the left, you'll see we have a nippers track. And then once we get in shortly, you'll see the main motocross track. So here on the left, there's your entry point to the 6085 track. There's one of the first spots you can hang out at. As you see when we get in here, the camping. Again, it's a sort of BYO place. If you want power, you got to bring a generator. There's no power here. There's definitely no phone reception. Pretty much got to go nearly all 20 k's back to Coonabarabran itself to get phone range, and I'm with Telstra. And as we come into the complex itself, there's the showers, the toilets there on the left, as you can see. And they're pretty good. For this trip out in the west, they're certainly better than the ones at Free Flight or Louis. Pretty quiet today. It was a lot busier yesterday, but this is Easter Sunday. And then down here, we've got the sign-in shed and the canteen. Here's the sign-in shed. As you can see, important to know there, all tracks are up to no good anyhow. The locals are here to help you out, so they will generally crank up the barbie, as shown there. You can always get a feed here, which is good. For one thing, they definitely don't have here, or even in Coonabarabran, unfortunately, is a bike wash. So if you want to do that, you have to bring your own. So here, right next to the sign-on shed and the camping area, is the main reason we come, and this is the main motocross track. And that famous sign overhead there, where the main jump here, where you can get your photo taken. And there's people doing everything from 5 feet to 100, 150, I reckon I've seen here. It's a big jump, but it's great. It's flat on top. You don't have to make it all the way to the down ramp. We'll show it to you on the GoPro. But as you can see here, the track is pretty sandy, and it goes off in the distance there around the back. Come back to here. So yeah, the track's out there, comes back around here to this main jump. As shown here, we'll get out in the GoPro and show you that. But it is pretty sandy and loamy here. And then they have enduro loops out the back there. I have been out there before, but they're not open this weekend and haven't been open for a fair while, so I won't go into them too much. But there's definitely something here for everyone, from kids tracks to sand tracks to enduro loops, and you'll find that here, all sorts of riders, but you definitely get a top level motocross riders here when it's open, because it is easily one of the best tracks in the country. But what Coona's probably most famous for, as we come off the track here, is this hill here called the Ridge. It hasn't been used for about 6 years now. Last time they had a state title here, and you need a state title to a national round minimum for the ridge to be open and never be open to the public. It's one of the gnarliest and fastest sections of motocross track in the country, without a doubt. And where I'm standing now, when the riders come back down this hill, they're hitting at about 100 kilometres an hour before they go back onto the rest of the track that we all get to ride. Yeah, I know it's a fair way from Sydney, but it's worth the hike. It's one of the best tracks in the country without a doubt. Definitely worth the journey. And like I said, as you've seen, if you watch the other footage, you got Free Flight, which is another hour and a half back down the road, and then you got Louis, which is probably 2.5 hours from here, but they're on the way from Sydney and on the way back.